of girl works best for Ty?
What kind of girl works best for Ty? One that will keep him focused. I do think Layla in Ty's route is good for Ty because she's a personal coach to him and keeping him focused on his athletic goal. That
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean that his potential lover has to be that person for him. It can be a friend. Layla can be a completely platonic relationship and still serve that purpose. But for Ty, definitely someone who will watch their surroundings and pay attention to the situation. Have situational awareness because Ty does not have that sometimes. He is loyal and oblivious, like a golden retriever.
So, like, in that sense, I don't know. Would it be best, like if a sequel was made, it's like had Layla and Ty platonic, and then just had Ty and Tanner, like, or not the incest route.
Oh my
Ty
gosh.
or Tanner and Layla to just be romantically involved. Like, that's the thing. It's like, because then you have like the whole brother situation. It's just like that you was with my girl. It's just like, I don't know. It's like it's like a crazy thought.
Can you? What was the question in there? I think I missed.
It's like, if we kept like Ty and Layla platonic, it would make sense. Like, you know, Tanner's with Layla, no problem. But like, I feel like it's so messy. It could be a good messy or bad messy.
Could be, but I want to believe that the trio is mature enough to know who is romantically involved and who is only platonic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they are totally.
Surely they have that level of maturity, enough
Sure.
wherewithal to know. Or Ty is completely unaware and is so focused on his athletics that he just wouldn't be aware of what's going on.
Bruh. Oh my. Why didn't you pick Ty to audition for when you closely resemble to his type of personality? Because I don't think we made Tanner at that.
At that point, when I auditioned, it was in May of 24, and the only open auditions were Silver and Michelangelo, so I didn't even know that Ty was an available option. I auditioned for Silver and Silver only, then got asked to do extras.
Would you have
I don't know
auditioned for
when
Ty if he was open?
I if as many open roles as there would have been, I would have auditioned for all of them that required what I can do. I didn't audition for Michelangelo because it did call for a Latin American accent that I can't do. But if Ty was an available option, I would have gone for it.
Honestly, I don't even think I really needed the Latin American accent for Michelangelo. I think it just needed a soft, calm voice. But
I can
honestly,
check the page, but I think it definitely said Latin American.
No, because I wasn't the one doing the casting call. But I'm just saying, looking back, I don't think I really needed that. But honestly, I don't really. You definitely fit more of like the hyper type of guy. So
I can do a hyper guy if you give me a little time to work up a bit of adrenaline.
Yeah, just be like, I don't need you to be calm. I need you to be hyper.
It's either, do you get me right after I got off customer service work, or do you get me right after I exercised? What energy are you going to get?
Favorite Ty moment? You can be privy oblivious, as we mentioned.
Oh, favorite Ty moments. I think it was right after Tanner and Layla got together at the end of Ty's route, and Ty is incredibly happy for Tanner. Like, Yahoo! You go, bro! And following that, when the promise ring that Tanner gave Layla was also an engagement ring, he's like, what? That was, to me, a very well delivered line by Phil Eva that I totally love. Phil Eva nailed Ty. He did a great job with the role. Energetic moments like that, I think he delivered them perfectly. And I would say that there is one of my favorite Ty moments because it's so full of energy like him, but it also kind of subverts what your expectation of his reaction would be if Tanner and Layla suddenly became involved, especially that deeply, that quickly in his own route.
Why do you think Ty is more naive about girls than Tanner is?
I think Ty isn't really interested in romance as much as Tanner. Ty is focused on his sports. Tanner is kind of focused on, I guess, in this case, the love triangle, getting the girl.
Mm.
Even though this was initiated based on a bet to try to win her over without directly asking her out. I just think in general, Ty liked the competition and he liked Layla, but that was the initial sportsman-like competitiveness that got him into that, more so for Tanner who liked the girl more so. So Ty has other interests that draw his attention like a goldfish. So you hold the football or soccer in front of him and he forgets the other interests around him. Tanner is fixated on the love interest because he doesn't really have much else in the story to hold his attention.
Do you think the Arya and Ty's relationship accomplished anything?
Let's see. Accomplish anything? Arya and Ty's relationship accomplished anything? I would say that it got Ty to open it. It accomplished something from a narrative perspective where we had to get Ty to open up so that the player could understand more about his thought processes and what motivates him. I think the relationship, particularly in Michelangelo's route, brings that out because it's not as prevalent as it is in other routes. It was like that balancing act we talked about where you don't want to reveal too much about one character, especially not in their own route, but you want them to be present and you want to get only a piece of the picture. Ty and Arya's relationship in Michelangelo's route brings out that in him, and in Ty's own route, we accomplish his caring nature, especially in teaching Arya how to throw a football or play the game, much like how Silver in Silver's route taught Arya how to play pool, that really lended a tender moment to the image of Ty. I would say you see a lot of Ty and Ty's route, even though it's so short, that really endears you to him quickly. And I think that's because you already have a foundation in who he is from pieces of other routes.
What is an alternate headcanon you could see Ty in 5 years that we didn't discuss last time?
Where could I see Ty 5 years from now? Was that it?
Yeah, in an alternate headcanon.
Alternate headcanon.
Yeah.
I would like to see him be successful in whatever his passion may be, if it's still football at that time, or if he decides that he would rather, I don't know, play poker, but professionally play poker. Or even he's just a Twitch streamer who's slaying it in arcade fighters. I think he'd be great at that. I think it's just anything where he can be competitive and let out that masculine urge to overcome the competition. I would say 5 years from now, I'd like to see him be a professional athlete, or even on the side or as a main focus or source of income, professionally play games online or do something that's a great competitive outlet for him.
He's a competitive Bible reader 5 years from now.
Competitive Bible reader.
What was the thing you wanted to discuss about the script that we had in development about brotherly bond?
About brotherly bond.
Yes.
Something you wanted to discuss about brotherly bond.
Yes, because you said that it's okay. We could talk.
I think I brought it up when it was relevant to what we were talking about. I thought at the end, when they created the pact to try to win Layla over, that was what let Ty. Because I remember we had the discussion of, did Ty know that Layla was the girl who saved his life? I thought he did, but then again, at the end of Brotherly Bond, that's never really explicitly stated. Tanner does, but you're right. I don't know if Ty does. Brotherly Bond as a whole, I'm excited to see more about that.
Do you think we should see a Ty's perspective for Brotherly Bond, or do you think it's enough with just a Tanner perspective?
I think you totally could do a Ty's perspective on that. Absolutely, because we have what Ty was doing during school when Tanner was talking to Michelangelo. We could have what Ty was doing when Tanner went to go take a leak, as he put it, and met with Michelangelo at the stands and bought Ty a t-shirt, to when Ty inevitably gets trapped under a heavy board after the fire. You could definitely have Brotherly Bond from Ty's perspective. I would play that. I'd love to see that.
What would you want to learn from that if we got to see his perspective? Like,
if nothing else, like, more character interactions is a great thing to have. It's why I watch filler in anime, because I get to interact more with the characters outside the context of the main story. If anything, I would like to see just more of Tanner, or excuse me, more of Ty, because his involvement in other routes is so short, his own route is so short, we still get a lot of him. But I'd like to see him interact with more characters that he didn't get to interact with much at all during the main game. If anything, just reveal more about his personality and how he views and interacts with other people.
Okay, and the final question is, well, I guess second final. Big what if scenario. What if Michelangelo is actually a half sibling to Ty and Tanner, explaining to why Tanner is tan and he's actually half Puerto Rican? The idea would be Michelangelo would be looking for answers about his dad, only for his mom to tell him that he was having a hot girl summer and his dad was in his red pill era before he found God and ended up with the boy's mom.
My gosh, what a scenario! Let me make sure I understand what you just said. You're asking, what if Michelangelo is actually a half-sibling?
Yes.
And their dad is Puerto Rican?
Yes.
And their mom was having a hot girl summer hooked up with Michelangelo's dad before he came to Christ?
Yeah, like Michelangelo's like, let me read this right. It was so Michelangelo, the dad of Tyson Tanner is Michelangelo's dad.
Okay, let me see if I can unpack this. If Michelangelo is actually the half-sibling of the Hawkins boys, I think, yeah, I could see it, because he's kind of already an honorary Hawkins in a way. They're really close. They were together, they knew each other since elementary, right? Elementary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I think they established that in Brotherly Bond, that they knew each other for a very long time and they were very close. It could work. It could work, because melanin in the skin is a hereditary trait, and you can get variations of melanin from offspring to offspring. That could explain why Tanner is just naturally more tan than Ty. And it would, well, that is another question. I don't think the blonde gene is prevalent at all in Puerto Ricans, and being blonde is a recessive gene. To have a blonde kid, you have to have a mother and father that both have blonde genes that both get put into the gametes of the offspring. So that'd be very hard to accomplish unless you state at some point that Ty bleaches or dyes his hair.
I mean, we do have the other. You do see his eyebrows are not blonde.
Exactly. So it could work. You've accomplished it. Great job. This could. Looking very close at it. Yeah, there's no blonde in the center of that. That's not just all outlines. That's just straight up like Mario having a darker mustache than his hair, which actually is a natural phenomenon to have darker facial hair than your head hair.
Yeah, I mean, he was, I think, originally supposed to be like dirty blonde anyways, but like I was just like, you know, we need different besides brown. So like, I'm just saying that what if scenario, I'm just saying what if it was kid.
Learn your Punnett squares, boys. It teaches you about genetics.
But yeah, it was just like, I mean, but then that means that there's 3 siblings in this kid.
But they don't learn about that till much later. It
I know, but it means more representation.
More representation? With malicious intent or because it serves the character?
I don't know.
Does it serve the narrative or not?
I'm just saying, like, what are your overall thoughts on that?
I'd say it's a big what if, but it could work. It could. If you really stretch for it, it could work.
Imagine there could be another thing is that Ty and Tanner are actually fraternal twins, and Tanner and Michelangelo are half siblings.
Oh my gosh. That'd be a little more of a stretch. That'd be harder to pull off.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know
like
about that dog.
That's what I'm saying. The half sibling angle would make more sense.
Yeah, it probably would.
But that means 3 siblings were in this game. So I'm just saying, like, would you think that would be like it would make sense for artist choice with how over the top this is, or you think nah, not worth putting in?
It would be a substantial B plot to put in there, but over time you could put hints of it in every route until the player has what they need to draw it together, and let that be a big reveal. Like, oh, I should have seen that all along.
We just start sprinkling it in. It's like sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah. In the beginning, there was time.
In the beginning, there was the...
And then we ended with Michelangelo and the main sibling. Oh my goodness. Anywho, with that being said, this is JJBEATS signing out. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.